concept of translanguaging comes from Wales. In Welsh bilingual education, where English and Welsh are the languages that are taught in immersion programs, and they had the idea of having some pedagogical practices that had the language of the input and the language of the output were different. So, for example, students could be asked to read a text in English, but then to answer some questions or discuss the test in the other language, in Welsh, or the other way around. So this is the origin of translanguaging. But then translanguaging has gone in different ways. So, for example, we can distinguish between spontaneous translanguaging and also pedagogical translanguaging. Spontaneous translanguaging is what, as bilinguals, multilingual, we can do. I mean, and in many cases it's more informally that we use elements from 2 or more languages when we communicate. And pedagogical translanguaging is different. It's planned, it's part of the lesson, it's part of the lesson planned by the teacher to work in class. And the main idea is to use resources from the students' whole multilingual repertoire so as to make more progress learning languages or also learning content, mathematics, science, history. But to use the resources, to make the most of these resources, because we are linking what students know to new information. With translanguaging in general, there can be a risk that if we allow for any language in the class and we don't protect the minority language, we may have problems with that language. So what is important is that translanguaging and pedagogical translanguaging has to be planned, and we keep spaces for translanguaging, but also spaces for the use of each of the languages. For example, in the case of Basque, we can have spaces that we can call arnaskuneak, that Basque is used, only Basque in some spaces, and is not threatened. And there could be other spaces where information from Basque is used to learn more, to learn better. Things that students already know, linking old knowledge, let's say, or knowledge that we have to new knowledge. We have been working on this internationally, giving many lectures, many things, and Pedagogical Translanguaging is a publication where we explain our principles, the theory related to that, and the way it can be applied in the class, and how important it is to consider minority languages when working on pedagogical translanguaging.